So we're here with Tim Brabants, Olympic hero. Dr. Tim.
Yeah.
Dr. Tim. So you've now postponed being a doctor? Have you postponed or have you quit?
Well, yeah, a bit of both really. Yeah, I'm not Dr. Tim anymore. I'm sort of canoeing or kayaking Tim now. I had a job full time for the last 18 months at Queen's in Nottingham, which is fantastic. Really, really good. Lots of A&E work and exciting stuff. But yeah, the call of London Olympics just around the corner really was too great. So I had to quit work, unfortunately, to come back into sport full time. But I had a great time working and moved my medical career on, which is what I wanted to do, and saved a bit of money so I could come back full time into sport.
So how does A&E compare to the rigours of being an Olympic?
Well, like I say, I mean, as much as I love the medicine, sometimes when you're stuck indoors for 13, 14 hours on a shift, it's not as nice as being here out on the water. I mean, this morning it was cold, it was about 1 or 2 degrees. And it's cold, but it's still nice because you know when you finish a session, you can go and sit down, have a coffee, and have a chat, and relax before your next session. A couple of hours later. So they're both challenging in their own right. You've got a challenge with the elements when you're in the sporting environment, but yeah, with the work side of things, you've got all the other challenges. But they're both rewarding in their own right. But at the moment, I'm really enjoying the sport side of things. And
you won your gold medal in the K1 1,000 metres.
Yeah.
But I've read somewhere that you were more about the sprint, and that's more of an endurance marathon.
It's still called a sprint, 1,000 metres. So we race over 200, 500, or 1,000 metres. And the Olympics, it was just the 500 and 1,000, and now it'll be the 200 and the 1,000 metres. So that's the sprint distances. Whereas I used to do marathon racing as well. So that's full distance, 42-kilometre marathons. So we do it like here on the river. You might start and you go up and downstream a few times over the locks. We have to get out your boat and run with your boat around the lock and back in again. A very tactical sort of race. Great spectator sport as well, but unfortunately not an Olympic event. So they are now focused on the sprint side of things. And so 1,000 metres is still a sprint, even though it feels like quite an endurance event. And the training that we do is a lot about power endurance, strength endurance.
And can you just talk us through some of the training, like how you get back in shape?
Yeah, so at the moment we're doing, I'm on the water every morning, so 7 AM every morning we're on the water, come rain or shine, and we're doing varied efforts depending on what we're trying to achieve in that session, whether it's pushing the fitness, whether it's pushing the speed or pushing the strength endurance. So sometimes we have resistance on our boats, so I have bungees around the boats with the plastic sort of hockey balls on that you can slide them round under the boat and increase the resistance, and you can pull it up and do a few efforts like that. Or we do more endurance stuff, 8-10 minute work, or very long sort of 20k steady state stuff. We also use the worst session. My coach just devises harder and harder sessions. One with it's like a windsock that you drag behind the boat in the water, and it takes you down to walking pace. So it's very, very hard work. So it's like real muscular effort to do it. So it's like doing a gym session on the water, and that's really unpleasant. The worst part when it's like this is you've got to keep putting your hand in the water to pull the resistance and move it around your boat. So just your hands get really, really cold and they swell up, and everything hurts it. But, and then the other sessions we do will be gym, running, swimming, and a bit of cycling as well.
You're quite trim, like upper body. You got a bit like when we saw footage of you in the Olympics. You have massive arms. Like, do you find like your legs like have no power in your arms?
You're saying, well, I'm just skinny now. No, I've got really skinny actually in my time off, which my coach always teased me about. But yeah, the legs. We use the legs a lot in kayaking. People, when they watch the videos of us racing at the games, some of the kids, especially if you go to schools, they ask if we've got pedals in the boat, because our knees are going up and down. You're pushing and pulling with your feet. And that's to get the extra rotation as you paddle. It's a very kind of fluid movement. So we're not actually sliding, but we're just twisting on the sea. And so we use our legs a lot, which is why we do the running and biking. And in the gym we do a lot of core work, and including that we do work the legs quite hard as well.
At Beijing, you were quite unknown, and the sailing and the rowers were kind of in a separate place to the rest of the athletes.
Yeah.
So did you like hang around with all the other rowers? Like, what was it like with them?
Yeah, so in Beijing we stayed in a hotel near the course, so we had all the GB rowers there and ourselves, and there are a few other countries there as well. And I've got a lot of mates from the other countries who are my main rivals. I'm very good friends with as well. So despite the fact off the water we're good friends, on the water we're always sort of trying to beat each other. But yeah, we get on well with the rowers. And just watching how much they eat and what they do, especially the heavyweight females. But they're an interesting bunch, and we learn stuff as well from them. Alan Campbell, the single sculler, and his coach Bill Barry, I've spent time with them, seeing what they do, how they train, and we take elements from that into our training as well.
And like, do you ever have a go at throwing?
Yeah, because I actually did a race with Alan after a sort of semi-drunken bet. He about us rowing together. I'd never sculled in my life before, so his coach Bill taught me how to scull, and we did the pairs head race, and we did all right actually. I think we didn't get enough training done, but I think we came 6th out of 400 and something people, so it's not too bad for a canoeist that's used to going forwards and never having sculled before. And then I did another race from Sark to Jersey, which was 18 miles in an ocean going quad with one of my old bosses from Jersey when I worked there. So that was a real test of endurance. My hands, like, they're not in too bad a state now, they're getting a bit blistered, but there I just remember feeling about half an hour into the race, just felt a pop as one of the big blisters on my palms burst, and yeah, they're pretty much raw afterwards, but it's all character really.
And after Beijing, like, how did you celebrate? How did you treat yourself?
Yeah, I didn't really do much celebrating as such, but I'd always wanted a motorboat. My coach Eric, he's coached me for 15 years. He's got a boat which he wanted since he was a kid, and my sister's got a sailing boat. I've been on water my whole life, so I went to the boat show a few times as well at London and Southampton. Really tempted, but realised I couldn't afford anything I had there, and then found a boat that I ended up buying from Norfolk. So now I've got like a small sort of sports cruiser thing, which you can sleep on if you want to, and cruise up and down the river. So it's a little celebration. I actually called it Shunyi, which is the name of the place where I raced in Beijing. So it's got some sort of sentimental attachment in that way. Whether I can afford to keep it for much longer or not, I don't know.
You want to bring it down to London?
Yeah, bring it down here. More actually on the island here, so which will be perfect. So I can train, and then after training I can get on the boat, and you can go down the stream to. There's a nice Waitrose there, and John Lewis has got a mooring outside on the river, so I can moor up there, do my shopping in Waitrose, and then motor back up the river.
And have you ever fallen off your boat, or how have you canoed?
Yeah, I fell off my boat once in the middle of the winter. I only got the boat last October, and I'd finished a long shift at work, and because I was so excited about having the boat, I was wanting to do a little bit so on, and I went down there at about sort of 10:30, 11 o'clock at night down to the marina and put one foot on the top of it to try and climb up. It was all icy, and just slipped straight down between the boat and the jetty in the water up to my waist. I had my phone in my pocket, my wallets, my car keys and everything. I was pretty miserable about that. But lucky, I was so lucky. When I think back to it now, it's those things that you see on TV when you're watching disasters and things that people did that were really silly. It's because I could have knocked myself out easily, because I slipped and I just mishit my head on the rail of the boat and mishit my head on the bank as well, and no one else was down there at that time, so that could have been the end of me.
And what was the lure of London that brought you back into the sport? Was it just because it was in home soil?
I think it's any athlete, it's probably once in your lifetime you'll get a chance to compete on home soil. I think even if it was somewhere else, I would have loved to have competed in another Olympic Games, but it's just going to be that extra special being in London. And I've been really lucky to be a bit more involved in some of the organisation side of things, been in a few meetings with people from LOCOG and the BOA, and it's been really interesting. And as you go through Stratford Station, you see the Olympic Park developing and building. It's just a unique opportunity that you don't get anywhere else. In Beijing, the first time I saw any of the facilities there was a year before when we had our pre-Olympic thing, and all you see then is the course that you're going to race on. You don't see everything else. So it's actually really exciting now when you're watching it growing and developing and building, and you can follow it in the media, and it just makes it that much more real. And it means when it is freezing cold, something's very prominent in your mind as to why you're doing this every day.